You're watching Bread and Roses, a weekly political social magazine that's broadcast in English and Persian via New Channel TV. Hello everyone, I'm Mariam Namazi.
And I'm Fariborz Puya. In this week's program, we'll be interviewing Nada Porotavic on an important issue of humanism for children.
We'll also be talking about the ongoing migrant crisis, a fatwa against your couch and chairs, as well as the death of Shahrukh Zamani, a labor activist in prison in Iran, and the fact that the captain of the Iranian football team was not allowed to leave the country because her husband refused permission. Stay with us. In the week that passed, there's, of course, many things that have taken place, but we'd like to highlight a few of them. One of them, of course, is the ongoing migrant issue. And what is really upsetting about this issue is that we are seeing this, brutal attack against some of the refugees and migrants. For example, the Hungarian government's actions, using tear gas, beating people, pushing them back. It's just really enraging when you look at it.
Yeah, and proportion of the population movement and human movement now these days, it's such that, you can't deal with it with sort of border controls. I think that's something that fundamentally the world needs to pay attention to. You have in parts of the world, you have brutalization of people, you have war, and we need to deal with this issue. The consequence of bombs definitely human sort of movement.
One of the things, someone had tweeted me and they said something like, oh, just because we don't want refugees to come doesn't mean we're inhuman, because I was saying that it's an inhuman policy. But it is inhuman if you don't want people who are so desperate, who are looking for a way to survive. If you don't want them, then it is an inhuman way of looking at the world. It's as if someone is dying outside a hospital and you say, well, can I see your papers first before we decide whether you're allowed medical care or not? Let's say somewhere in London. It is an inhumanity to think that they shouldn't be helped.
No, and that's the issue. The certain fundamental rights that people need to have. One of them is freedom of movement. Irrespective of where they come from, people are everywhere. There is world citizenship. I think that's something we need to raise.
Definitely.
People have the right to safety. Children have the right to basic things. So the consequence of war, that's what we get.
War, poverty, militarism, Islamism. Charlie Hebdo's done an interesting cartoon on this. It's met with a lot of criticism, but I think it's actually hitting some really important points. You will show it on the screen right now, but it shows how it's sort of the Christian right that is talking about defending a Christian Europe, how Christians can walk on water and Muslims sink, and there's also a criticism of European policies and restrictions on asylum seekers, and it's pictures Aylan there, the young boy who died.
The advert of cheap food and takeaway and that sort of thing. And I think that's the issue, and I think Charlie Hebdo, it's in its own way has actually highlighted quite a critical issue. You have the right-wing Prime Minister of Hungary who says we only want sort of Christians, we don't accept sort of people who've been labelled as Muslims, and that's the thing, categorization of people in this way, it's not right. So.
One of the interesting things that's been in the news is the fact that Saudi Arabia hasn't taken any refugees and asylum seekers. Well, the first thing we said was, well, who wants to go there, And the funny thing is, Islamic State has issued a statement saying, don't go to the lands of the infidel, come to, the Islamic lands. And that's, again, isn't that where everybody's fleeing
Somebody's going to
from?
knock them on the shoulder and say, actually,
no,
people are running away from you. And the other thing is that Saudi Arabia, I think they issued a statement saying, we don't want to brag about it, but we've accepted 250,000 people from Syria and we've given them citizenship. And there's no evidence
that
of
might be all the Daeshis, the ISIS.
Well, we haven't seen anything.
That's the only one Saudi supports. But let's go on to two other bits of news that we wanted to talk about. One of them was, of course, the head of the captain of the Iranian football team. Her name is Nilufar Ardalan. She's, I think, 30 years old. She's been denied traveling abroad and getting a passport to go for training and for games because her husband has said he doesn't want her to go.
Yeah, and this is the state has denied her right to free travel because she said you need to have permission from your husband. And the husband has said no. And this is
the computer says no. But what's great about her is that, she's gone public with it. She said, my husband said no. I don't think this should be the case. I need to go. And he's not said anything. Other people are saying it's a personal matter, but clearly it's not.
Is there is a family sort of dispute that needs to be kept within the family wall? But actually, the women rights activists recognise as a major issue in Iran the right of women in Iran and everywhere, the right to be able to travel is a fundamental right, and this is a fault line within Iranian society and is an issue that people are fighting for.
Definitely. One of the final things that we want to talk about today in this segment is, of course, the death of a wonderful labor rights activist, Shahrukh Zamani, only 51 years old, who died in prison. And basically, effectively, he wasn't executed, but he was killed by the regime, and the regime has to be held accountable for it.
And the alarm bells are sounding in Iran and in Iranian sort of political prisoners and labor activists. It seems to be that's a new policy of Islamic regime. If they can't execute opposition for various reasons,
suddenly they're found dead.
Suddenly they're found dead
under suspicious
or denied.
Conditions.
A lot of them are denied medical sort of attention and put them in a situation that actually they get rid of them one way or another. We need to celebrate Shahrukh Zamani's life because he was one of those characters who tried to organise labour activists in Iran.
Yeah. Painters Union.
Painters Union, and he tried to sort of secure basic rights of organisation for trade unionists in Iran.
And also, he and there are others like him who have spoken out in defense of their rights, in defense of political prisoners in Iran, even whilst they were in prison.
Yes.
And because of that, they've been even targeted further, even though he was already sentenced to 11 years in prison, denied many of the basic things that other prisoners might get, like visitation rights or, furloughs where they can, he was denied going to his mother's funeral, going to his daughter's wedding, things that other prisoners might have been granted because of this refusal to submit.
An interesting point is that the broadcasters like BBC Farsi, who have 24-hour, I think, programs in Iran, they've had complete silence on this issue, and that's why there's uproar in the Iranian opposition community against the Islamic regime, and other people actually cooperating. So there are demonstrations in different parts of Europe to expose this situation and to celebrate Shahrukh Zamani's life and protest against his death, really.
Yeah, well, people have gone to social media with photographs saying, Shahrukh Zamani has been killed and we hold the regime accountable. So, we suggest that people go ahead and defend him, celebrate his life, and hold the regime accountable, but also hold people and media outlets like Ayatollah BBC responsible for not publicizing this important news. Now, the crazy fatwa from this week is from a mufti in Yemen, and his name is, where's his name? Omar ibn Muhammad ibn Salim ibn Hafiz. That's a long name, man. And he's got a fatwa which is basically saying that couches and chairs are not just haram or sinful, but they are very haram. Very,
why?
Very, very. Why? Yeah, guess.
Because I think he said that if seats were good, our ancestors would have used it, because our ancestors and our great leaders in the past sat on the floor. So they did, and this is very Western invention, infidel invention, and he put that on a Facebook.
Doesn't he have a whole Facebook page as well?
He does. He's put it on Facebook.
And his fatwas go on Facebook, but he does it without sitting on a chair because the chair is infidel, but Facebook
he does it lying down.
Not. Oh, yeah.
He types lying down.
Yeah, very
and
interesting.
He wears glasses, and that's made in Yemen.
So, well...
And people who made the glasses, they don't sit on a chair.
So basically, yeah, I mean, what else do we say about this? I mean, I love the part where he says it is jiddan haram, like really, really haram.
Seriously.
I mean, it's not just haram, you know, like eating pork. It's just very, very haram.
It's wrong.
It's just wrong. So,
Shall we sit down? Shall we get together?
I think so. The next segment, we'll be sitting on the floor just because we don't want to, you know, be haram. Welcome to our program. You've just done a book about humanism for children. Can you explain what the book is about?
Yes, I wrote this book, Humanism for Children. I wrote it originally in the Croatian language, but we have also an English version of the book and a German, and I would be delighted if there will be once an Arabic version of the book. It introduces children to the world of humanist thought, and also it embraces also the values of feminism and human rights. The book has two parts. One part where I explain the social and the scientific ideas about the book and explain the society in which the children lives, and sometimes also the moral values of their parents. And in the second part of the book, I give 10 proposals, not commandments, how to live a good and equitable life. And also, of course, the important thing of the book is to introduce the children, or to give them, to show them that they are capable of free thinking, of critical thinking. They should inquire everything. They should also have responsibility towards society or other people, or even the earth, environment, and animals. So I hope this book will help some children to find some answers they are looking for.
Why did you write it?
I'm a parent and I have a child, a daughter, and it was first meant to explain or to introduce my child to the world of humanism, of love, of also this critical thinking and so, and then after that I wrote a book to all children, not only to mine.
What is humanism, if you would explain it, please?
Humanism is a worldview which is grounded on, the word says it, it's grounded on the human, the men and women, the human knowledge, the critical thinking, but you don't have to forget the solidarity and responsibility towards other people and towards the society.
Would some call it another type of indoctrination then, if you have 10 rules?
No, because the most important thing is critical thinking and critical inquiry. So I tell the children, inquire everything what is written in the book. Or the parents can read it together with the children and have after that a discussion. It should be inspiring to further discussions about something like I mentioned that democracy, human rights, feminism, LGBT people, so scientific cognition, and so the children have to, yes, they should ask and they should inquire and should even, I'm telling this in the book, also inquire the authority of even of their parents to see, okay, free thinking, free minds, free thoughts, you can free think, but you have also the responsibility when you think or when you deal to have the responsibility for your doing, and so it's.
So you mentioned 10 points. What are the 10 most important points that you think are needed?
Okay, I will read them. That's 10 suggestions for a good life. Take care of yourself. So it's first important that you take care of yourself, that you love you, and that you take care of yourself. Be free. Think freely, or act freely. Be happy also. Show solidarity, show empathy, and show solidarity, pure solidarity. That means that you are listening to the stories of others, not to judge, but really to listen. Why somebody has this problem, or why is somebody feeling discriminated? So really to listen, and not to say, oh, you are not discriminated, but to listen to somebody and to say, oh, I didn't know this. This is your feeling. Okay, what can I do that you don't feel discriminated or humiliated and so on? And then the fifth point is be caring. That's philanthropy. That's give. Things or needs to others that don't have it. Then also, what is more, care about the world, our Earth environment. What is before this is be reasonable. From the reason, for me, it's so. I say that from the reason, it's from the reason where I came to the solidarity. It's not from the heart, it's from the reason. But that doesn't mean that I'm heartless or something like this. But that's the reason I say, okay, I will love everybody and hope everybody will love me. And be just, also be honest. And I even mentioned here bad secrets. If you have bad secrets, how to deal with them. Be responsible towards animals, and be brave. And I give in this book, I give the examples of struggle of humanist rights activists. So the children see how it is, for example, how Ruby Bridges was the first child, Afro-American, to go into a white school. And how one child can be brave and do not only for herself, but for all the other children can make a progress. So that's be brave, dare to know, have civil courage. That's the important thing. Not only for you, but always be responsible for the society, for other people that don't have maybe this strength to be loud and to struggle for their rights, and live a life worth living.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We hope you enjoyed the interview with Nada Porotovic. I think, she raises some really important points, and the book that she's produced is wonderful. It talks about some really good things, what you think every child needs for their development. Be rational, be free, be happy, show empathy, be brave.
And I think those are good values for children to have, and everybody to have, adults as well. But one of the things that I think she highlights, which is critical, is critical thinking and being able to question. That's what A.C. Grayling said in his speech at the 8th anniversary of the Council of Ex-Molested. The right and the pleasure of being able to think freely and deciding for yourself, that's something we need to teach our children.
And I think that's really, if an education doesn't teach a child to think critically, then is it really an education?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things that even in modern times, education system are producing children like strategists who actually don't learn to be critical of the environment. And that's the important thing I think she's raised. And I think that's a brilliant book.
Yes, definitely. So make sure you go and get a copy if you've got any children. You've all seen video footage of the Hungarian journalist
who worked for the right-wing media.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to
anti-immigrant,
be nice. Anti-immigrant woman who tripped one of the Syrian refugees who was carrying his child. It turned out that he's a coach. His name is Osama Abdul Mohsen. And the slice of life this week is a video of him after he has basically been given refuge in Spain.
And this is brilliant. And he says he's thanking everybody, and he's lovely. And you could see that, you know, he's got a lot of the skills. He's not sort of, you know, the image, the dehumanized sort of refugee that they tried sort of that police could beat up. And you could see that the result of the case has been highlighted among those people on the borders of Hungary and Serbia and throughout Europe. The people who are moving, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people like this.
Yeah, definitely. It's a beautiful video. You have to watch it.
Well, a bit of a happier ending now for one migrant who hit the headlines recently. A Syrian man who was filmed being tripped at the Hungarian border by a camerawoman is being relocated to Madrid. The video of Osama Abdul Mohsen sparked global outrage when media in Germany reported that he was a football coach back home in Syria. A Spanish football academy offered to help him build a new life.
I love you. I love Madrid. I love España. All España. Thank you for all. This very, very important for my life. I am here with you. Thank you very much.
Hope you enjoyed this week's program. We look forward to making programs for you. We hope you enjoy watching them. Don't forget that you can send us videos or leave us messages on our phone, and we will try to upload your messages and also raise the issues that you ask us to raise.
And until from next week, from me and Mariam, goodbye.
Hi, I'm Mariam Namazi.
And I'm Fari Bospuya.
We're hosting a program called Bread and Roses. It's a weekly program that's broadcast in Persian and English in the Middle East and North Africa, primarily Iran as well. And it's also shown on YouTube internationally.
And we've been doing this since last May. We're coming up to our year's anniversary, and we've had quite a lot of fun making these videos.
We discuss taboo-breaking, free-thinking ideas. The Islamic regime of Iran has called us immoral and corrupt.
And that's why you need to support us. We are the alternative voice in Middle East and North Africa.
Of corruption and immorality. So do support us. Here's a short video from Patreon that explains how you can help us with even just $1 a week. That's nothing. Support us.
Patreon lets fans become patrons of their favorite artists and content creators. It's different than Kickstarter because it's not about one big project that requires lots of funding. It's more for bloggers or YouTubers or webcomics, anyone who creates on a regular basis. Here's how it works. When you become a patron, you're agreeing to give an artist a tip of an amount you set every time they release a piece of content, whether it's a new song, a video, or a recipe. You can set a monthly maximum to make sure that you're always within your budget. Choose an amount, enter your payment information, and you're done. Becoming a patron allows you to view and post in the artist's stream, and in exchange for your support, artists offer additional patron packages, which might include monthly Google Hangouts, music production tutorials, pre-sale concert tickets, or anything they can offer as a way to say thanks. Patreon, empowering a new generation of content creators.